Hi, everybody. So let me introduce myself a bit. One second. Here we go. So, hello, my name is Alexios Kronis. As Megan has said, I'm a delivery manager at CSols. I've been a senior consultant for over 16 years, focused on LIMS selection and strategy, configuration and implementation, and validation. My LIMS background is built on a strong foundation in quality manufacturing, along with clinical life sciences, environmental, and even forensic spaces. So today we'll be exploring the Canadian pharmaceutical laboratory landscape, examining both the universal challenges shared by most labs globally and the unique requirements distinct to Canada that must be considered. We'll also be providing recommendations on how to resolve these challenges and streamline the laboratory. Now, we'll first start our journey understanding the administrative crisis involving the invisible workload, which will then lead us to the human bridge between manual and automated processing. We'll then continue with ecosystem integrations, including data integrity and automation compliance. Now, at the end of our trip, we'll discuss how to reclaim the scientist, returning the investment of human talent, and empowering the scientist to leverage LIMS in an extension of themselves. So, with most laboratories across the globe, there is an invisible workload that is traditionally used when processing samples. Analysts perform tests and manage samples right at the bench. They write down notes on a form or maybe a notebook, and then transcribe those details manually into a LIMS or other system. So this administrative overhead is pretty much disguised as science, with scientists spending more time with administrative tasks rather than actually doing any kind of science. So this constant manual toggling between instruments, paper logs, and spreadsheets makes the process a silent productivity killer, transitioning scientists into a sort of part-time data entry clerk. Now, research on the invisible workload of Canadian laboratories, titled Hidden and Understaffed, Exploring Canadian Medical Laboratory Technologist Pandemic Stressors and Lessons Learned, that's a mouthful, revealed high administrative tasks and severe understaffing have contributed to high burnout. Now, lab professionals face significant emotional stress, equipment maintenance, and manual compliance tracking that are unrecognized by traditional metrics. So, how is this administrative dance impacted further in Canada? So let's first take a look at the documentation burden. Under strict guidelines like Health Canada's GUI 0001, similar to FDA's 21 CFR Part 11, every single action requires meticulous documentation. Scientists spend hours logging instrument calibrations, manually mapping data across fragmented Excel sheets or siloed software, and documenting all types of observations, changes, and even corrections. Next up is the drive for perfection, or if you look at it a different way, it's the fear of failure. So this strict Canadian guidelines can promote a sort of sense of fear, knowing that a single decimal error or a simple data change can invalidate an entire batch of material, or even impact government data, creating a state of perpetual hyper-awareness and need for narrow oversight. And then lastly, we have rogue solutions. Now, unfortunately, with many labs that I've seen, scientists have been known to develop unmapped or undocumented workarounds and have complex personal spreadsheets to bridge the gap between available systems and incompatible lab software where data could be orphaned. And we must not forget that if a scientist leaves the company, that critical knowledge vanishes with him or her. So, to summarize, the invisible workload promotes the use of a human bridge, where we rely on human brains as sort of data bridges to carry information between instrumentation and analysis to even final reporting. But in reality, this is the most expensive, the slowest, and of course, the least accurate method for moving critical laboratory data from bench to system.